Hello everyone, Evan here with a tutorial as promised in my previous video on pricing strategies. Today is Saturday, June 24th, and the purpose of this video is to explain different pricing strategies for dropshippers and analyze the advantages and disadvantages of each one. I've seen forums and in Facebook group discussions that a lot of new dropshippers are asking for pricing schemes that have been tested and worked in the past. To give you a very quick answer from experience, I would say that almost any pricing strategy works. What you need to understand is that eBay will try hard to keep you satisfied in quotation marks and turn you into a steady client. eBay wants to make sure that everyone is satisfied to a point that they will stay with them and pay their fees. On the other hand, please remember that their primary task is to make money and not to make you rich. I'm going to be showing you certain pricing strategies, but remember that every pricing strategy has to answer the question of what is good enough or satisfactory for you. For example, if you want to make $500 extra per month, it's going to be much easier than making $3,000 extra per month or even more. Another question is whether you want to make the amount of money on high number of sales or on high markup profit. All the other strategies fall somewhere in between. Most importantly, I would say that you need to understand what each strategy entails and what are the pros and cons of each one. So I'm going to be using the PriceYak graphical user interface because I have found that it is very flexible and allows you to do almost anything you want with minimum effort, and it updates the prices to thousands of items for any new strategy you want to try in a matter of few minutes. So here are two extreme examples. The first one is based on a low number of sales and very high profit markup, this one over here, and the second example is based on a high number of sales and a low profit margin markup. I'm going to just show the two of them, and then I'm going to analyze the advantages and disadvantages of each one. But as I told you, these are two extremes and you will fall somewhere in between, most probably. So low markup pricing. The reason I have set the profit margin at 9% is sales taxes, as you can see over here. On the average, you will be charged around 8 to 8.5 sales tax. If we take into account that the states that are going to make the most sales are California, Texas, and New York in that order, according to my experience, my statistics, and I don't think are different than any other statistics. All three of them have high sales tax. So the average you will be making is around 1% to 0.5% profit on the purchasing value. For more information on that, on what I just said, the purchasing value, please watch my previous video on the PriceYak profit settings, which are explained. So if, for example, you source from a supplier or suppliers that do not charge sales taxes or charge sales taxes in a couple of states like Wayfair, Overstock, or Hayneedle, then you could replace the 9% over here to a 0.5 or 1% in this example. Please note that under no circumstances should you charge taxes if you don't have the permit from the state. Now, the second one is the high markup pricing, and I understand that the numbers you see here might look almost impossible, but I assure you that you will have sales. And I have tried even steeper pricing schemes, and they work, they do work. And when you get a sale, you will be very, very happy. You can also combine it with the new eBay feature of item promotions, and you can comfortably set it at 10%, even at 20%. But even with just 10%, your items will be heavily advertised and 99% on top of everyone else. As I said in the beginning, these two examples are two extremes and you're most probably going to settle for something in between. But let me share with you, according to my experience, the advantages and disadvantages of each strategy so that you can decide beforehand the kind of store you would like to have or you would like to set up. So here is a comparison between the two pricing strategies. The first one, the low markup pricing, obviously you're going to have a large number of orders, while in the other one you're going to have low number of orders. On the other side, you're going to have a low profit percentage, and for the low number of orders, you're going to have a large profit percentage. And in the first case, your profit will be based on a large volume, and the high markup pricing on the other side, you're going to have a lower volume. Now, larger volume means higher maintenance, more orders that you will have to process, more questions that you will have to answer. Overall, you will need to spend more time in maintaining the high volume of orders. On the other hand, the high markup pricing will give you lower orders, so lower maintenance, fewer questions that you will need to answer, fewer customer requests, and of course fewer orders that you will have to process. On the other hand, the benefit is that you might have more returns on the low markup pricing, but those returns will hurt, in quotations, hurt much less, because if you have a profit of 1% or 2%, $1 or $2, and you have to return it and you will lose the profit, it doesn't hurt a lot. But on the other hand, with a high markup pricing, if, for example, you have 4 or 5 orders per day and one of them is canceled and it amounts to 30% of your profit on that day, then that return really hurts because you lose 30% of your profit. Now, on the other hand, if on low markup pricing you have restocking, you set restocking at 10%, sometimes you will make more money by the return in this case, because you will charge a 10% and you didn't make, you made like 1%. But if for example, your customer has changed his mind and you are allowed by eBay to charge the restocking fee, you will make more money by returning it rather by your customer keeping the order. On high markup pricing, you will need a higher restocking fee. I would suggest 15 to 20%, so that if somebody returns and you are allowed to charge the restocking fee, at least you will not lose a big chunk of your profit. The next point, the PayPal jail and the PayPal safe that I say here, is a point that you will need to take very seriously into your consideration of the kind of pricing scheme you want to have for your store. My example, my experience from 2 years ago, actually June 2 years ago, I had, for the very first time, more than $60,000 in sales, in volume, on that month. And right the next month, I was put in PayPal jail. Now, what PayPal jail is, if you look, and maybe I'll create a video in the future, but if you look at what PayPal jail is actually a way for PayPal to be more secure in their transactions. What they did for me is that within the next 10 days, within the first 10 days of July, all my balance in PayPal was reserved. And from then on, all my sales were put on a 20% rolling reserve for 45 days. So they kept for 45 days 20% of my sales, of the amount of money that I had received from a sale. That's on top of the eBay and PayPal fees. And that was because I had a really big increase in my volume. My volume went above $60,000, and that was because I had used a low markup pricing, and I had about I don't remember, maybe 30, 40, 50, even 60 orders per day. So I reached a high volume. I had low profit, but very high volume of sales. And of course, nobody told me about the PayPal jail. I had to find out by my own painful experience. Now, the high markup pricing is PayPal safe. PayPal safe for two reasons. The first reason is because you will have much lower volume, so most probably you will stay below the PayPal radar. And even if you don't, even if you have a larger volume of sales, even if they too place your sales in rolling reserve, the 20% will not hurt you if they keep it for 45 days or 30 days. This pricing is much more favorable in terms of PayPal. Now, the next one, sales taxes are dangerous. Sales taxes are not dangerous on the other side. What does that mean? Well, it means that sometimes, especially when you have California or Alabama or anyway, states with high sales tax, you might lose money. On the average, you will not lose money, especially if you set it to 9%. Most probably you will not lose money on a sale, but sales taxes are dangerous, let's use that word. But with a high markup pricing, the sales taxes are not dangerous. And the last one is no GSP, no global shipping program. With global shipping program, you will have to pay taxes, but there is no way for the client to pay taxes, even if you could charge taxes. So another reason that you can't use GSP with very, very low markup pricing is because although GSP could amount sometimes to even 30% of your total sales and sales volume, you will end up losing money. Sometimes something will happen. It's a very, very long story, and maybe I'll create a video about the benefits and advantages and disadvantages of having the global shipping program enabled or not. But overall, I am for the GSP. But there will be times where you will lose money, and for that, you need to have a little bit higher markup to level off that loss. So with a high markup pricing, GSP is almost a no-brainer. Now, my last comment is that, first of all, promotions can be used very easily, as I said, for high percentage, for high markup pricing. You can have separate accounts, or you can combine the same store two strategies. You can either try those different strategies per store, or you can combine different strategies within the same store. You can have, for example, the low markup strategy for Wayfair and Overstock, where you have very few states where sales tax is charged. So most of the times, the 9% markup will be pure profit, and you can have the high markup pricing strategy for sources like Amazon, Walmart, and Sears, where you will be charged sales tax 99% of the times. Another way you can combine different strategies in the same store is by using different markups for price ranges. You could, for example, use high markup strategy for $0 to $50 for lower priced items, and the low markup strategy for $50 and above. The good thing is that PriceCheck allows you to employ many different pricing settings with great ease, and you can use it, and you can try many different things by doing very minimal work. So I think that this is it for this rather long tutorial. You will need to rewind, and maybe you will need to re-listen to some of the parts because there is a lot of information in this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to be notified of my new posts. If you have any comments or questions, please ask them below, and I will try to answer as quickly and as thoroughly as I can. I will see you in the next video. Until then, have a great day with lots of profitable sales.